Common sense. I recently came across a meme whose caption stated, "Common sense, the newest superpower," pointing to what I believe is the truth that so few people practice common sense anymore. Some people do seem to be born with it, others not so much. But I would argue it is something that we can work to develop, and hopefully we'll come across some of the ways of bringing that about in today's discussion. We face some challenges, though. The biggest one that comes to mind is what the poor teachers are put through, where they are dictated to teach to test. And students are taught what the right answer is, not how it is the right answer or why it's the right answer, but they are told this is the right answer. Not only that, but they're told that this is the only way to get to it. All you have to do is be a parent of a child in middle school and try to help them with their math. And you'll find very quickly that the way they're told to do it is very different from the way you were taught. And if they bring it in, even if the answer is correct, the overall problem is wrong. So they're not taught how to think, they're taught what to think. There's not permission to analyze, to question. That's something that isn't encouraged. It's to follow the line, to stay within the box. And unfortunately, that limits problem solving and the ability to develop one's own intellect over time. Let me offer you a definition of common sense that I put together. And forgive me, I've got it jotted down here so I don't miss any of the key points, so please bear with me. Definition that I put together is this: sound practical judgment based on simple perception and facts, independent of outside influence or bias. Let me read that again. Sound practical judgment based on simple perception of facts. Also based on facts, of course. Independent of outside influence or bias. Now, this is different from knowledge. It's different from education. It's even different from IQ. I've known plenty of very smart people that were very challenged when it came to common sense and practicality. So be careful not to equate knowledge, education, or IQ with common sense, because they are not the same. You know, common sense involves insight, it involves an unbiased view of whatever the facts are. Applying wisdom and eventually reaching conclusions that make the most logical sense. I wrote something a few years ago I wanted to share with you, and I ask you to forgive me again because I want to just read it to you. Now, normally I'm not going to do this because I don't want it to bore you, but please bear with me. And this is what I wrote. It said, "The death of common sense. Common sense didn't die. It was murdered, sacrificed on the altar of political correctness. It suffered from the belief that good things will happen without hard work, integrity, and facing reality. Practical wisdom was sentenced to death by applying the convenience and money rather than practicality or morality to problems of the day. Without common sense, life simply goes faster and faster, causing reality to blur as it goes by. Living is like peering out the window of a speeding train. The truth is no longer clear. Common sense needs resurrection. Every aspect of life has been overanalyzed and made too complicated. We repeatedly race without rest, and our rest is usually no more than a different form of running. Speed, not efficiency. Experts, not role models. Appearance and not substance have replaced common sense. Common sense due to its rarity, has become uncommon. Therefore, to practice it actually means applying uncommon sense. Applying uncommon sense requires wisdom and practicality. Often effective answers to problems are too quickly dismissed. They haven't been made modern enough or been through enough committees or included in enough books by the quote-unquote experts. True solutions may be seen as outdated. And I wanted to include this example in this, so let me share this. I came across this a number of years ago, back in the early days of the space race. And among the many challenges facing NASA was dealing with zero gravity. In space, records needed to be kept. Astronauts needed to write things down. The problem NASA faced was that common ink pens rely on gravity to draw ink to the business end of the pen. In weightless space, there is no gravity. Therefore, there is no ability to write. So they thought, how do we make a pen that will pump ink through the barrel to outcome the lack of gravity? NASA used hundreds of thousands of dollars on research and development. They spent many days with frequent delays. But with some good old American ingenuity, the developers came up with the zero gravity pen. It would write in space. The problem was solved. Now you can pick one up at the local business store for less than $100. The Russians were faced, of course, with the same problem, the same writing dilemma as the Americans. However, they didn't have the luxury of huge amounts of cash for research and development, nor did they want to spend a lot of time and energy on the problem. So what did the Russians do? They used a pencil. Too often our high-tech, high-speed attitudes work against us. Sophistication, or what appears as convenience, makes it all too easy to lose our grip on common sense. The need to return to common sense we left behind is evident, even if it's called by a new name. Simple, practical, reality-based approaches to living are what we need. Complicated, impractical, fanciful, so-called solutions only lead to stress, frustration, and confusion. The curse of the cure is worse than the illness. Today's world cries out for common sense.